My, oh my, just like that, we have a Friday edition of Locked On 76ers. He's Keith Pompey. I'm Marc Farzetta. And we're going to make sense of the confusion that some people have surrounding the Kelly Oubre trade reports from Jake Fischer. And also, we're going to give you our safest bet on the season for the 76ers. I'll tell you why that surrounds Jared McCain. All that and more on this edition of Locked On 76ers.
You are Locked On 76ers, your daily Philadelphia 76ers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And we do thank you for making Locked On 76ers your first listen every day. Today's particular episode brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Download the app today at FanDuel.com. That's FanDuel.com. And we do thank you for making Locked On 76ers your first listen every day, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Keith, I don't think it's shocking for a second to think that Kelly Oubre would be dangled out there, be shopped to be moved, or Andre Drummond. Good player, not a lot of money. I think other teams would be interested in that. Does that make sense?
Makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. So
I want to shout out a listener of our show, RoboCop, which I'm honored to meet the actual RoboCop. There's a couple of reports out there. One that we talked about with Jake Fischer, and one we haven't talked about with Jake Fischer, both surrounding Andre Drummond and Kelly Oubre. Now, I believe a clarification has come out. I don't believe a retraction has come out. I don't believe walking back has happened or anything like that. He never said the Sixers are trading Kelly Oubre. He never said the Sixers are trading Andre Drummond. He said that there's been a buzz. We'll get to that. The reason I think he's got a bit of a clarification to his previous report is that it got a lot more attention than I think he anticipated. For example, Kelly Oubre now being like, everybody hates me, the world's against me, to hell with everybody else, blah, blah, blah. We'll get into it right here. This is the original report last week that we talked about from Jake Fischer. There's been buzz also. This is direct quote, by the way, all right? There has been buzz all summer long about the 76ers looking to potentially move on, move one, if not both, of Andre Drummond or Kelly Oubre if they are able to find a deal for one of those guys as we get closer to camp that would open up some wiggle room for Philadelphia to be able to pay Quentin Grimes a little bit more money. Is there anything in that jumps out to you as outlandish or flat out impossible?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
No.
It's not where they're trading Tyrese Maxey for a number one pick. They're not, it's not that. Like, we're not, even that's not that crazy, but I just could never see the Sixers doing that at this point in time. So then we react to it. The internet reacts to it. Kelly Oubre reacts to it, saying, I love Philly, but the love doesn't seem to be reciprocated. What happened to this place? And for those saying I'm garbage because my three-point percentage went down, I still put up numbers and I'd still cook you. For the record, I peaked in 8th grade athletically. So yes, he would. He would cook me. I played through finger surgeries on my left hand, thumb, pinky for 3 years, but still put my soul into this stuff. That's one thing only God can take away from me. Hope to see y'all soon. Godspeed. So not happy, Keith, right? We can surmise from that Kelly Oubre is not happy about the report that was out there.
Yeah. I mean, definitely not happy. Yeah, definitely.
And then finally, this was Jake Fischer earlier this week. This is where people consider him walking it back. Now, if you do, fine. I don't, but this is where it's at. Philadelphia has explored the potential trade landscape at various points this summer for Andre Drummond and Kelly Oubre to theoretically create some additional financial flexibility to make the re-signing of Grimes more comfortable. Maybe a move does materialize for those veterans at some point, but I must stress that the Sixers do not appear to be operating with some clear-cut directive to trade either player at the moment. Is that a retraction? Is that walking back, or is that a clarification? What in all honesty, Keith, how do you see that?
I see that a little bit as a clarification. I see that a little bit. I see that the guy had the information out there, and as you pointed out, Kelly and other people took offense to it. And so, I mean, Kelly, so here's the deal. Jake Fischer basically wrote the same thing. He used different words. He said in the beginning, he said the first one he said potentially, right? So what the Sixers are doing is they went there and they were calling around, from what I get from this, trying to see what the temperature was on acquiring Kelly Oubre and Andre Drummond. Now, if a team would have bid on it and this and that, then maybe the talks would have possibly went to the next level. They have not. Jake came out with the information. Kelly took offense to it. Fans are killing him. So now all of a sudden it's like, well, I'm going to reword it to make it seem less as impactful, but I'm still going to put the information out there. So now people are looking at it like, okay, if they get moved, they get moved. It seems to me that the 76ers and Kelly and the 76ers didn't want that out there because it's kind of like, well, we never said we were going to trade them. We just want to see what type of interest there's out there. And it happens a lot, dude, in the NBA where teams will call around and say, hey, you guys ever think about trading said player or trading for said player? And then it seems like, oh, yeah, no. Oh, okay. But if you did, what would you want for them? Oh, we could talk about that later. You know, you put fillers out there.
Right.
That's what possibly happened. But, yeah, I'm with you with that 100%. Like, the team just, they can't trade them right now. And I told you in the beginning, it never made sense for a team to take them now, right?
Now, yeah, right.
No, you can't trade them right now, or you're not going to be able to get what you want for them right now. So it's just a matter of, like, I'm not trying to have Kelly in a negative mindset heading into the season. We got to get this corrected. And guess what, Jake? Good reporting on you, but you're going to have to take this bullet, bro. You're going to have to, like, you know what I mean? You have to reword something. And it seems like to me.
Well, I'll put it to you like this. I don't like strong buzz all summer long about potentially trading anybody, Kelly Oubre and Andre Drummond in this case. Like, when I hear stuff like that, I'm like, oh, a general manager or president of basketball operations. Oh, they're doing their job. Like, this isn't about best friends. Okay. This isn't about sleepovers and, puppy dogs and ice cream. This is about business. And if I think I can if I'm running a team and I think I can make them better, I'm going to be making calls all day long. If I think, now there might be an avenue to explore to get more money for Quentin Grimes. So who are my most tradable assets that aren't making that much money? Blah, blah, blah. The Kelly Oubre and Andre Drummond are at the top of that list. So I'm going to, hey, what's going on over here? Oh, you had a bad experience with Kelly Oubre, or he had a bad experience with somebody who you respect the opinion of. So now you're not going to, like, you don't know those things unless you make those calls. Now, some things, like, just as a wild example, Jimmy Butler didn't get along with some people in Minnesota. So, like, that's just not even going to happen. That's just as an example. But if Daryl Morey's just making phone calls, then he's just doing his job. And it's part of the game. It's part of the business, unfortunately, but that's part of it. So when I see the news, I'm like, oh, okay, I can see why he'd make phone calls. I don't see why he'd make phone calls because of the sole purpose of freeing up a couple $1 million to give to Quentin Grimes. Because as you pointed out, I don't think that makes you better. I think Kelly Oubre's versatility is more valuable than, getting a couple of more $1 million for Quentin Grimes, which, by the way, I don't think it's going to end up coming down to. So that's the one aspect of it that makes me go, I don't know about that. But as far as tradable assets, I think Drummond and Oubre are your most tradable assets right now.
Yeah, see, and here's the problem with the 76ers when we look at it, and they are the most valuable assets. But let's just say if Quentin Grimes is trying to get that $20 million, right? The Sixers only have $18.5 million left before they're, like, in second apron hell, so to speak, right? They only, seriously. So if he wants to get 25 mil, they're screwed, right? So it only makes sense for them to shop around to say, hey, if they want Quentin, to say, hey, well, we got 3 guys who can play the 2 and the 3, and that's VJ Edgecombe. We just drafted him. We're not getting rid of him. We're trying to get Quentin. Well, it's going to have to be Kelly, right? Because when you look at Kelly, Kelly's making 7.9 this season. What is Edgecombe going to make? What, around like 9, right? Or set whatever. Yeah. So you're kind of like in the space where you look at it and you say, we're going to have to make something happen. I mean, we're really going to have to make something happen. And hold on, let me make sure I got my numbers right, because I think I may be a little bit off. But you, yeah, well, but yeah, for that. So like the thing is, what I'm saying is, deep down inside that the 76ers, like, let's face it. Oh, I take that back. So they're 20. Yeah, I knew what my numbers were off. Okay. They have $21.6 million left in the second apron before they go over in there, and they're like in second apron L.
Okay.
So with that being said, if he wants 20, like, okay, you got 1.6 mil left. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I understand.
Basically, yeah, they have to make a move. But at the same time, it makes sense to make calls. It does, because of that. Because you have to make a move, it makes sense. But what really happened, and again, I'm just saying, just by, well, let's say let me assume what I think happens. They were trying to trade Kelly, but what they did is they just put fillers out. Like I said before, they didn't get the fillers back. Kelly is upset. So now they're not going to deny it and say that Jake was his source, say that he was wrong. They were just saying, oh, we were just potentially doing it. Just like you potentially say,
kicking tires. Kicking
tires, basically. That's all it is. But they left the door open for something can happen down the road, right? Okay. They're just kicking tires. But it makes sense, man, because this is part of the reason why they didn't bring Yabusele back, Gershon out Yabusele. And we all knew once Kelly Oubre picked up that option, and we all knew when him and Andre Drummond came back, you knew that the 76ers would have a salary cap problem. You just knew it.
Yeah, I hear that. I hear that. By the way, 20 million plus for Quentin Grimes makes no sense to me whatsoever. And I know I've said that throughout the offseason. But that Josh Giddey number of about 25 per, that does, I think, change things just a wee bit there for Quentin Grimes. In a good way for him. I think in a bad way overall for the Sixers. When we come back, Keith, I don't want this to be a actual bet. Like, I don't think we're not going to tell people over-unders here. We're not going to tell people, hey, when they play the Celtics, I like the Sixers plus 10 or something like that, No, this is like the safest bet, like the nearest to guarantee, because we've talked a lot about guarantees when it's come to injuries and all that stuff. I want to talk about the guarantee for this Sixers season. A lot of unknown, but also I want to talk about the guarantee. I should say, let me word it like this. Of all the unknowns, how many games Joel Embiid's going to play, Paul George and all that, what do you think is the safest bet for 76ers to bank on, 76ers fans to bank on in the upcoming season? We'll talk about that more when we return. This is Locked On 76ers and Locked On Sixers YouTube channel. And now let me tell you about OpenPhone. You guys taking advantage of what OpenPhone has to offer? It's amazing. Think about the last time you had a problem in your house, for instance. All right, let's just say that. Did you just sit there as like a pipe was leaking water or gushing water and go, oh, let me just call one person and sit and wait? No, you probably kept on calling. So what does that tell you? Missed calls, missed money, missed opportunities, missed customers. That's why you need OpenPhone. OpenPhone is the #1 business phone system built to streamline and scale your customer communications, all from an app on your phone or computer. OpenPhone lets you manage business calls and text from a single app and their shared inbox feature is a game changer. Your team can jump into any conversation instantly without missing a beat. And their AI agent, that's artificial intelligence, I have to say that on a Sixers podcast, handles after-hours calls, answers common questions, and they also capture leads for you so you never miss a customer. OpenPhone is offering our listeners and our viewers 20% off your first 6 months at openphone.com/LockedOnNBA. That's OpenPhone.com/LockedOnNBA. And if you have existing numbers with another service, OpenPhone will port them over at no extra charge. OpenPhone, no missed calls, no missed customers. Of all the unknown, Keith Pompey, what would you tell a Sixer fan? They meet you in the street. They see you, out and about at a convenience store or whatever. Hey, Keith, what can you guarantee me this year about the Sixers? What's the safest bet for the 76ers? What do you think that safe bet is?
I would say Tyrese Maxey averaging 26 points a game, at least 26 points a game. Ooh. I mean, because I feel like that they're turning this over to be Tyrese Maxey's team. Tyrese Maxey scored 26 points last year. So, and we look at his production over from season to season, his numbers have gone up. Right now I think that they're trying to play with a speed. They're getting guys in here, Trendon Watford, Paul George is going to be hopefully healthier. These are all guys who are good passers, and it's going to enable Maxey to play at times off the ball and go downhill. But yeah, I look at Maxey. I mean, Joel Embiid always called him the franchise. But I do look at him as taking the mantle and being the leading scorer, because as much as we look at these videos of Joel Embiid, as much as we look at Joel Embiid as being the franchise player and doing a lot of other things, and we see him being slimmed down and all that, we still don't know how many games he's going to play. So when he's not out there and until he gets back, I think that Maxey's going to be the guy. I think that he's going to be the guy.
I think Trendon Watford being here is a big sign for that. Not that I think Trendon Watford is going to be like the second best player on the team or anything, but I mean, that's his buddy. That's his boy. And I find it very interesting. They also are really starting to surround Tyrese Maxey with guys that are a lot like Tyrese Maxey, guys that just want to work their asses off and be better and better and better each time out there. That's a lot more along the lines of Tyrese Maxey than it is, unfortunately, in the legacy right now of Joel Embiid. My ask, while I mentioned him, my ask for Joel Embiid is be a near great player. Not historically great like we've seen, but be a great player when you're healthy. If I can get that, obviously we're going to be happy campers. But let's talk about how Tyrese Maxey gets that 26 points a game, maybe even more. Last year, you saw most three-point attempts per game for him, most shot attempts per game for him, and you saw a career-low field goal percentage for him, career-low three-point percentage as well. Last year, because of the circumstances, had to be a little bit more of a volume shooter. Not much more, but still more of a volume shooter. Are you looking for a greater efficiency, or are you looking for basically everything to go up, the points per game to go up, and also the three-point percentage and field goal percentage?
I mean, basically, I just think he's going to get more opportunities, just like he did last year. Ideally, you would hope that his field goal percentage will go up. But again, I think a lot of that last year had to do with he had to do it. He had to do it. You know what I mean? Like, he became a volume a scorer, like shooting the ball all the time. He had to. I just think that his maturation in the way that things are adding up with Joel Embiid and Paul George still being questionable. We don't know who we can't ask ourselves if Joel Embiid and Paul George are not going to play right now, without a doubt. I'm asking you this. Without a doubt, who is Tyrese Maxey's sidekick? Who's like who's 1B to Tyrese Maxey's 1A?
without Embiid and without Paul George, I would have to look at given what you have right now, Quentin Grimes. I'd love for it to be Jared McCain, but I think Grimes would be more likely to take that mantle right out of the gate.
And we don't even know like what state of mind he's going to be in because of the situation that's going on right now, right? So that's the crazy part. And so, you know, I just think that Maxey is, from what I've seen, he makes steps. He keeps saying 1% better. Well, each year he gets better and better. And I think that Quentin Grimes being here may take some of the pressure off of him if he comes, right? Jared McCain will take some of the pressure off of him. But I still think that this Maxey is going to be the guy. I mean, and I think he's going to get as many shots as he wants. They'll help at times. But I think that, you know, Nick Nurse is the coach. And Nick Nurse is the guy who keeps encouraging him to shoot more and more and more. Like, Maxey can get 30 shots a game, and I think Nick Nurse will be happy with that. You know, that's just how it is.
I would love it. I would absolutely love it. And I think that is an extremely safe bet to talk about a guy who has averaged over the last 2 years about right on 26 points per game, just right around that number the last 2 seasons. And there's obviously been inconsistencies around him with the rest of this roster over those 2 seasons. Last year, we talked about a slight increase in shooting in terms of volume. Yes, he absolutely needed to do it. And then the other part of it, he also had the finger injury. So it was like the percentage took a hit, I think, especially later in the season before they shut him down, because he was still trying to be the guy despite what was falling down around him and despite only having 9 fingers he could really operate with, unfortunately. So I don't think it's out of the realm at all to talk about 26, even more, maybe even more points per game for Tyrese Maxey.
Hey, can I
when I was thinking about this? Sure. No. Finish the thought. Okay. My safe bet.
This is different a little bit than the safe bet, though. But everything makes sense. And I'm going back to the Kelly Oubre thing and the reason why they were going around basically kicking tires, right? And hoping and praying like stuff will happen. So the Sixers have a really bad dilemma, and it kind of explains why there really hasn't been a lot of traction with Quentin Grimes, right? So we already talked about where they are. So they're 21.6 million underneath the second apron. And we all know once you get above the second apron, you basically, you know, you can't make trades. It's hard to make trades. It's hard to do all types of other things, right? So Quentin Grimes wants 25 million. We already discussed that, right? Mm-hmm. If they give him 20 million, they're only going to be 1.6 million under the second apron. Well, a Dem bonus contract is non-guaranteed at 1.95. So that they haven't even included that on the books yet, like as fully guaranteed, talking about. So when you look at it, you're saying to yourself, like, whoa, they got a problem. And that's why they're trying to do it. That's why it's kind of like, hey, we really love you, but can you bring it down a little bit? You know what I mean? Because when we talk about, you have Joel Embiid, you have Paul George, 2 contracts that are hard to trade. It's like right now it's hard for them to justify giving Quentin Grimes that money, because if once you do that, you know, you're basically going to be stuck with that roster. So that's where I'm coming at right now. Like, yo, this is a problem, and that's why they're doing that. And they'll have to figure something out. But it's going to be a tough break for the 76ers. I mean, regardless of what they do.
You said earlier the second apron hell, just overall cap hell. The Sixers are just basking in it at this point. And, well, they're about to bask in, depending on how this Quentin Grimes thing goes. But real quick, I'll give you mine as far as my safest bet. Like when I see people, like it was something they look forward to about the Sixers. Towards the end of Jared McCain's very brief rookie season of 23 games, where he looked like the rookie of the year and all that stuff, we've talked about how there was an adjustment to him that the league started to make. I got every bit of confidence that Jared McCain is going to learn from that last handful of games where he had some struggles there and get back on the track that he was at, where in his rookie season, he was averaging 15 points per game, a little over 15 points per game. This was a guy that Nick Nurse came out and talked about. Somebody said we said this. It wasn't us. It was Nick Nurse said that, probably a G League guy, back and forth from the G League, blah, like last year. And then he comes out, he's looking like the rookie of the year. You're talking about 3-point percentage. You're talking about free throw percentage. You're talking about being able to shoot from the corner, being able to shoot the corner three, the ability to bring the ball up, the ability to move without the basketball, and also an intelligence that absolutely goes well beyond a 19, 20, soon to be 21-year-old kid. I look forward to him being a guy to take a step up from about 15 points per game. Maybe he gets you that one more bucket. Maybe he gets closer as a guy to come off the bench and get you closer to 18 points a game, that type of thing, with good 3-point percentage, helping you spread the floor. I think Jared McCain's improvement is the safest bet for a lot of Sixers fans this year in terms of something you could really look forward to. I think that is the safest bet. Now, even VJ Edgecombe, who I like, seeing him really break out of it and have almost like a Jared McCain run to start out his career, I'm not betting on that. I'm certainly rooting for it. But of all the guys to take a step forward, I think Jared McCain's that guy.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to see what Jared McCain can do myself too. I think that he was a breath of fresh air for the Sixers, at least early on. I mean, we think about it. The team was struggling, and he put on a show. I really do want to see, what he can do when teams are focused on him more. Like we said, those last 3 games. But, I mean, this guy made major improvements since Summer League, and you really feel sorry for him for getting injured because he was going to win Rookie of the Year. He really was. And I like the way that he's a guy that you can put him in there with anybody and he can play well, as he's shown, like playing with the starters. So, yeah, he's really good. I mean, he's going to be good. He's going to be good. But I'm still going with the 26 over you.
All right. That was 26 for Maxey, just for the record.
Yeah, 26 for Maxey. Yeah,
not for McCain, because that would be if McCain's scoring 26 and Maxey's scoring 40. Man, let's go. All right, when we come back, we're going to do our official Grimes watch for the day, even though we've talked about it a bunch throughout. But we'll give you that. That's when we return. This is Locked On 76ers and the Locked On Sixers YouTube channel. And now let me tell you about FanDuel and how fantastic FanDuel is. For instance, as we all know, the NFL season well upon us right now. And FanDuel is making sure that you're ready to kick off every single game day with new customers betting just $5. And if you, as a new customer, win that bet, you get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. I love using FanDuel because it fits however you like to bet, whether it's player props, same game parlays, even jumping in as the live action unfolds. It makes every game that much more exciting, whether you're watching with your team or watching your team or you're just keeping an eye on the fantasy lineup. It's quick, it's easy, and it's the best way to add a little more energy to your Sundays. So, are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app right now by going to FanDuel.com. That's FanDuel.com to get started. Go to FanDuel.com right now to place your first $5 bet, and if it hits, you get $300 in bonus bets at FanDuel. Go to FanDuel.com. Oh, hey there, Keith. Couldn't Grimes sign yet?
Nah, not yet. What he has, a week, right? A week before training. Well, yeah, a week.
Yeah.
Today. A week from today is when
the 26th, media day.
Media day. So we'll see, man. If not, this will be the 3rd or 5th or 4th or whatever consecutive year where there was something that people were talking about outside of X's and O's. First started with, what was it? Ben Simmons. Well, then the James Harden thing was a little different because he came back. But then after that, it was, what about Harden? Is Harden coming back? Does he want to be here? Then it was injuries for Joel Embiid. Was it wise for him to play in the Olympics? Now it's going to be Quentin Grimes. What's going on with Quentin Grimes?
I don't remember Days of Our Lives. My mom is a soap opera lady. She loves the soap opera. She loves her stories. Okay. And I'll never forget the one open. I think it was Days of Our Lives. Like the sands through the hourglass. These are the days of our lives, right? I feel like that's the Sixers. It is a soap opera. It's drama. These are the Sixers of our lives. So that's what it feels like following the 76ers team through the offseason. Joel Embiid not healthy, plays the Olympics, come back, not ready. James Harden goes to China, calls Daryl Morey a liar and cannot be trusted. Ben Simmons upset that his teammates didn't visit him in his new mansion in L.A. All that. And then eventually they tried to, and he said, well, too late. I'm ready for the X's and O's, Keith. Just give me the X's and O's. We do have a question here. I want to get it in here. Jamal Childs, hello. Mark and Keith, what are you guys' individual thoughts on whether you think Embiid will be playoff ready if obviously we make it? That's what matters most, right? Him being playoff ready. First off, qualify and have him help you qualify. I hope all that comes together nicely. I don't even know if he's going to be ready for the opener. So how am I supposed to know he's going to be ready for the playoffs, Keith? I wish I could give more of an answer with more assertiveness, but it's the greatest unknown. It is the most unsafe bet you could make on the Sixers this year.
Yeah, I would agree. Ideally, you think that they can follow the Kawhi Leonard model, where Kawhi missed the first 30-something games of the season and then came back and made himself playoff ready. But with Joel Embiid, again, like, I know he looks good and he looked like good in those photos, but we really won't know anything until we see him out there on the floor, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, we don't know if the knee is going to flare up. We don't know anything, like how many games he can play. Again, what you see on the video in that one jumper and looking at the photos of a slim down Joel Embiid, it looks good. But again, we just have to see it on the court, how he can do running up and down the court before we can make that determination.
I'm with you. Let's get one more comment in here. Robert says, Mac, or he agrees with somebody else in here, Mac. McCain is the better playmaker, I guess, compared to Grimes or Maxey?
The Maxey.
Okay.
We talking about Maxey, yeah.
I love if anyone on this team could be a playmaker. All right, sign me up. I'll watch that. I want to see that. Mr. Sandman, McCain gonna get all the endorsements for Zest Soap Bar. He's zestfully clean. Wow, that's an old one. I don't even know if that's still the campaign. Is Zest Soap even still around?
But you know what he's calling them, right? He's calling them zesty. Like, yeah, he's trying that. That's a knock at McCain. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you all this. You know what? I like Jared McCain. And I know some people give him a lot of, my man, it was a corny joke. A lot of people give him. I
apologize for that being over my head.
No, it's good. But a lot of people give him flack for being himself. But to me, be who you are. And I'm just going to tell you, it's like, I know things have changed. And it's easy for people to go on podcasts and TV and make fun of a lot of these guys. But people fail to realize he's not the first 76er that we had in a while who had the fingernails painted. And I mean, seriously, like, he's not the first one. I mean, and the thing is, it's kind of like, these dudes aren't like, what people think they are. Like, that's because they get their fingernails painted. You should see what the wives look like and the whole thing, everything.
Right.
They're manly men. And when you look at, like, Alabama's star wide receiver paints his fingernails. The quarterback for the Bears, who's under a lot of criticism, paints his. So, I'm just saying, I know it's probably something I wouldn't do just because I'm a 50-year-old, dude. We just didn't do that in my generation. But I'm not going to make fun of a kid who does something, because the one thing y'all need to realize is he was a guy, and he went to his parents and he said, hey, look, I want to be myself. And mom and dad said, go ahead, be you. And him being himself, it enabled him to shine on the basketball court because he felt comfortable. I think we have to respect that. I do. Right. I think we have to
I'm with you. I'm with you. And I'll tell you what, if he drops 20 a game next season, I'll paint my nails. How about that? I'll be here I'll be here to support it. Thanks everybody in the chat.
I'm gonna hold you to that.
Yeah. Thanks everybody in the chat. We hope you guys have a phenomenal weekend. We'll be back with you guys Monday morning for another edition of Locked On 76ers. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. Back with you guys Monday. See you then.